is up and welcome to another Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl video. We haven't had any news on the game since the official reveal trailer, but I've been seeing a lot of you guys in the comments asking what my team is going to be in our return to the Sinnoh region. And I haven't actually done a video like this before, mainly because I don't like to spoil my team for the playthrough. I'd rather keep it a surprise, but today I'm gonna switch it up and do 3 possible teams for the Diamond and Pearl remakes to maybe help you guys out in deciding what Pokemon you'll be bringing along your journey back in the Sinnoh region. And you never know, I might just use one of these teams myself when the games finally do come out, as of course I will be doing a playthrough when those release, so if you're excited for this video, make sure to hit that like button and let's jump into it. As with every Pokemon journey, we're going to begin with our starter Pokemon, and in the Sinnoh region we've got a choice between the Fire Monkey Chimchar, my personal favorite, and actually one of my favorite starter Pokemon ever. Torterra comes in as a close second, the Grass and Ground Turtle of Terror, who was featured in the Detective Pikachu movie in its Gigantamax form. I always found that so weird how they were that huge. Personally, I always found Piplup to be my least favorite. No hate on Piplup actually, it's more on Empoleon, the Water and Steel Emperor Penguin Pokemon. It's actually not bad typing wise at all, I just never really picked it growing up or even now as an adult. I think I actually did use it in my Pokemon Platinum playthrough though, but it's because I felt like I never used it before, so I had to give it some love. And no matter what starter you go with, the other Pokemon on your team should be ones that complement it or cover its weaknesses. So I'm gonna have 3 different teams with all 3 of the different starters. So I guess we will begin with Turtwig because he's the first one in the Sinnoh Pokedex, who does of course evolve into Grottle, and then Torterra, the Grass and Ground type. And he is a little bit on the bulkier side when it comes to stats. Torterra has a pretty good physical defense, but also physical attack, so he can definitely deal the damage back. Before this team, we're going to consider him a bit more on the beefy side, so I've chosen Pokemon that are a little more speedy and better attackers to complement his beefiness. Starting with the early bird of Sinnoh, Staraptor. Hands down one of the best early bird Pokemon ever, at least design-wise. It's always stood out to me with that edgy red streak in its hair. They say you can't have a Sinnoh team without Staraptor on it. And I mean, you could always replace it later on, but for this team, we're gonna stick with it. I think it's got plenty enough power to be useful all the way through to the end game with its Brave Bird and Close Combat combo. Now that's 2 Pokemon that are definitely on the physical attacking side, so we're gonna balance that with a bit of a special mix here, and it's going to be another throwback to my second ever Pokemon playthrough here on YouTube. You guys probably don't remember this at all, but I actually did a Houndour solo run back when Pokemon Platinum, like the original Platinum, came out over 11 years ago now.
Come on, Volcanus, finish him off. Yes! The god of all Pokemon falls because he's not cool enough to challenge us. We are too cool for Arceus.
Sinnoh is actually notorious for having a lack of fire-type Pokemon, so Houndoom was one of the ones added in Platinum as well, and assuming that it's going to be in the remakes, it is going to be our special attacker on this team being a Dark and Fire type. With it being weak to fighting moves, we already have Staraptor to cover that, and being weak to water moves, we've of course got Torterra, although Torterra is also ground type, so he does take some damage from water moves, which is why our next Pokemon is gonna wash away all those troubles. That's right, it's Rotom Wash. I'm back at it again with those excellent puns. But Pokemon Platinum introduced Rotom forms, and I'm gonna assume that those are definitely gonna make it into the remakes. And originally, I believe no matter what Rotom form you chose, it was always Electric and Ghost, but it was updated in a later generation, so each form had a different typing, with the Washing Machine form here being an Electric and Water type. Rotom itself being a bit on the bulkier side with Torterra, so you could have one being physical and the other special defense. It's got the Volt Switch in there too, so very good with Staraptor, who can also have U-Turn. Honestly, you don't even need any more Pokemon. This 4-man core right here can probably get you through Sinnoh easy. But, you know, Pokemon teams usually have 6, so we're gonna have 2 more here with Wooju up next. also known as Gallade, or well, I should say that the other way around, but at this point I've used Gallade in so many playthroughs and always call it Wooju that that's just what I know Gallade as, but this is of course the male exclusive evolution of Ralts, introduced in Generation 4 as a psychic and fighting type, and it's another one of my favorite Pokemon probably ever, especially with that Mega Evolution. Now I'm getting too hyped because we don't actually know if Mega Evolutions are going to be in the remakes or not, but if they are, we actually now have 2 Pokemon that could potentially Mega Evolve with Gallade and Houndoom, of course. I will say we have a slight weakness to Fairy type, because I'm 100% sure that Fairy type is going to be in the remake, so this slot could actually be occupied instead by Lucario, a fan favorite of Sinnoh. I was never personally a huge fan of Lucario. Like, I get why people love him, but I just never really had him on my teams. But he's definitely a solid choice and would actually make a really good replacement to Gallade here, since with its Steel type, it could handle fairies. Rounding out this team, I actually didn't know what to go for, because I feel that already with this 4-man core plus your fighting type, like, this is already a very solid team. So if you want to go for something more supportive, like maybe something to set up Stealth Rocks or Reflect, Light Screen, whatever that support might be, but I decided to showcase a Pokemon that I don't see get much love, and that is Dusknoir, the final form of Dusclops back from Gen 3. Actually, a lot of Pokemon from older generations got new evolutions in Sinnoh, but Dusknoir is one that I personally never used before and I don't see a lot of people talk about, but I think it's really dope. Its Pokedex description saying it's basically the Grim Reaper, like guiding lost spirits to the underworld. You can deal with Psychic and other ghosts, even though Houndoom could also do that. That's gonna round out our first team with Turtwig as the starter. Again, those first 4 Pokemon are really all you need, so those last 2 slots, just get a little fun with it. Next team, we are going to be looking at my favorite starter from Sinnoh, the Fire-Fighting Monkey King, Infernape. I think this is hand down the most popular Sinnoh starter. I don't know if it's the design or the type or all of the above. Actually, I remember it was really popular in competitive battling too when Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum first came out. This dude could actually run a mixed attacking set, meaning it can use both physical and special attacks, having access to like Vacuum Wave, Close Combat, Flare Blitz, basically all the other fire moves too. So you never knew exactly what to expect when you saw Infernape. I would always personally run him as a physical attacker, but that's just because I was a dumb kid spamming the A button on Flare Blitz, so maybe on this team he could work more as a mixed attacker, having a balanced attack and special attack, since the rest of the Pokemon on this team you'll see are a little bit more bulky, which leads us to Gliscor. Again, no shame if you have Staraptor as your early bird, but like later on in the game when you have more access to other flying types, Gliscor is an excellent choice as he is a ground and flying Pokemon, the evolution of Gligar from Gen 2, and a menace in competitive battling. Those of you guys that have played like OU Smogon rules know it ain't fun to deal with Gliscor, having the Poison Heal, those Toxic Spikes, Roost. I'm already getting PTSD about this mon, but he's also pretty fun to just use, you know, as a physical attacker with Earthquake. And if you did choose to run your Infernape as a special attacker, well, I've got the physical right here, as our next Pokemon is going to be the powerful Azumarill, who back in the original Sinnoh was not quite as impactful as nowadays, since it of course gained the Fairy type and huge power ability, doubling its attack stat, although it might have already had that. I just love Azumarill because it's got this like doofy looking smile and then it just absolutely destroys your team. And it provides pretty good coverage for our previous 2 Pokemon, being able to deal with any ground types for Infernape. Dragon Pokemon can say hello to your Playrough. And I guess the only thing it can't deal with would be other water types, which is why our next Pokemon is going to be another special attacker slash supportive sort of Pokemon in Roserade, the final form of Budew and Roselia, who can also be kind of on the supportive side with Toxic Spikes or just Toxic and stall out your opponents, but I'm not really a huge fan of stall, so I would definitely have it fully loaded on special attack with the Sludge Bombs and Leaf Tornadoes or Giga Drains to heal yourself back up. There's a reason Cynthia's got a Roserade on her team, okay? This little mask it's wearing is to hide its true potential. And I think with those 4, depending on what kind of stats you've got on them, there's plenty of offensive power. So our next Pokemon is going to be a bit more defensive, Bastiodon, one of the fossil Pokemon of Sinnoh, who is going to be a rock and steel type, and Bastiodon's just here to be the bouncer for the team. Like, we already had enough bulk with Gliscor, but now with Bastiodon, you are for sure taking any hit that isn't fighting. Cause yeah, he is pretty weak to fighting. And it's just a Pokemon I don't see get nearly enough love compared to Rampardos, the other fossil. So I wanted to highlight this big beefy shield dude in this team, and I think he fits along quite nicely with the rest of them. Just make sure to watch out for any loose punches, cause yeah, this thing is very weak to fighting. Which is why our final Pokemon is gonna be another Ghoulie Ghost, the Ice and Ghost Kimono of Death, Frostlass. Or something like that. I think it's based off a Japanese spirit that wears a kimono. And I just always love this Pokemon as the female counterpart of Glalie. But I think Glalie, kind of like Gardevoir, it can be either gender. But yeah, it evolves from Snorunt. It was new in Gen 4. If you thought Cynthia's Garchomp might give you some trouble, don't even worry. Frostlass got your back. As long as it's faster, of course, because it is very frail. So it can't really take hits from the enemy, but if it gets its Blizzard or even Ice Beam off, I think if a snowflake even touched Garchomp, it'd probably just roll over and die. And that wraps up our second team with my personal favorite pick for starter, Infernape, but I don't know if this is overall my favorite team. That honor might just go to the third and final one we've got here, Team Empoleon! Or well, it's the team based around Empoleon, the water and steel starter. And a big reason why I like this team is actually our second Pokemon, Togekiss, who now benefits from being a flying fairy type, since of course fairy type didn't exist yet back in the original Gen 4 games. But Togekiss is terrifying. Like, it has the same effect as Azumarill, where you see that goofy little face and think it's all happy and peaceful until you get hit by Air Slash with Serene Grace and Aura Sphere, and you just keep getting flinched over and over. And now that it's fairy too, you know, it can deal with dragons. Like, I don't know, man. Togekiss is terrifying to deal with if you don't have the right Pokemon. But again, it does have a lot of weaknesses like Electric and Steel, and it just so happens that our next Pokemon can deal with both of those, as it is the return of Rotom, this time in its Easy Bake Oven form, which is going to be a fire and electric type. And while it's not nearly as popular as the Rotom Wash, at least in competitive battling, you know, in the main story or just like beating the game, it doesn't really matter what Pokemon you use at the end of the day. The games are pretty easy, so I'm trying to have some fun with it and maybe use some Pokemon I don't use too often, like the Easy Bake Oven, who can also be built a bit bulkier or just go full on with the special attack here, carrying those fire and electric moves. You always got to have that Volt Switch though. That's like Rotom's main thing. Just in case you run into something you don't really want to deal with, you can just zip the heck on out of there and bring out your real guns, because it's finally time to bring out the Garchomp. Maybe I'm going a little try-hard with this team. I was just talking about how easy it is to beat these games, but like Garchomp will make sure it's like super easy mode. Just like Roserade, there's a reason why Cynthia's got Garchomp as her ace Pokemon actually, so there's even more reason that this thing is broken. Or well, at least back in the day, it was very, very powerful with the Dragon Dance, Earthquake, any dragon move you give it, it's going to be causing some havoc. Of course, it is super weak to ice though, but we've got two Pokemon on the team already that can switch out and tank those with Empoleon and Rotom Heat. If Mega Evolutions end up being in the remakes, this will only make Garchomp even more devastating, although some people actually prefer to keep it in its regular form because Mega Garchomp does lose some speed. Again, I feel like you don't even need any more Pokemon. These four can just get you through the game on their own, but we gotta have two more for the content, you know? So next is Rhyperior, another new evolution to an older Pokemon, this time for Rhydon, of course, all the way back in Gen 1. And I love Rhyperior not only because it's a bulky beast, but because it has that exclusive signature Rock Wrecker move. Or, you know, it used to be its signature. I think other Pokemon might have it now, but it is one of the most powerful rock moves out there, and I just love Pokemon that have those signature moves. So I decided to go with Rhyperior here to add a little more bulkiness to the team as well. And finally, we got another beefy boy. The final one for this video is gonna be my favorite president, Obama Sinnoh, bringing in Christmas in April, because, you know, it's got that snow warning ability, which can set up the hail, and that actually might not be the best idea. Like, the rest of our Pokemon don't exactly benefit from the hail. It's mainly here to provide that ice type and take care of any dragons that Togekiss didn't already deal with, or Garchomp even. Like, actually, I don't think we really need a Abomasnow. The 6th slot in all these teams we'll just call the free spot, like in a bingo board. Whatever you want to go crazy with. If you want to try a Pachirisu, you know, go for it. You really don't need all 6 Pokemon to beat these games, at least if it maintains the difficulty of the last few generations. And I mean, it's most likely not going to be too challenging, but you can always add in your own challenge by doing a Nuzlocke or Ironmon or whatever it is the kids are doing these days. You know, I feel that difficulty in Pokemon is not really something to complain about. Like, just have fun, try out some different mons that you don't usually use or you think are weaker. Maybe even do an unevolved run, you know, just keep pressing the B button every time they're trying to evolve. Actually, that kind of sounds like torturing your Pokemon, but my point is just have fun with it, whatever way you like to play. The difficulty hasn't exactly ever been the selling point of the series, you know, so that's just my 2 cents, and that is 3 teams for the Diamond and Pearl remakes. So let me know which of these you like the most down in the comments below. Just comment whatever starter, or I guess whatever 6 Pokemon you're gonna end up using in the games. I'd love to see how you guys get creative, and one of you better have Pachirisu. That thing is too cute to be denied at least a small chance in the spotlight. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for more Pokemon Xenoverse coming out this week, and I guess whenever more news on the remakes actually come out, because yeah, I don't think we're gonna get any new trailers until probably closer to the summer. I don't know if there's really anything else to talk about regarding those games for now, so bye, leave a like.